Today I'm making a quick video just to talk a little bit about constants and also to test out this Green-O-Matic. So here's a quick program I wrote this morning to draw a board. I'll show you it real quick and then show you how constants make it much easier to work with. So you can see here somewhat you have a large chessboard. So there you go there. So how did I draw this chessboard? So I started with some squares. I knew the chessboard had 8 squares, and I'm going to base everything off the chessboard being 8 squares. I decided on what the square side was going to be. It's going to be 80 pixels. And therefore, the board size equals square size times the number of squares. I have a couple other things here, outline. I'm going to outline each of my squares in gray, and then I have a couple of colors. You can see here on the width and height, I've decided to choose those as being a function of the size of the board. I decided I wanted it to be 1.5 times about the size of the board. I probably should have made this a constant as well so I could play around with it, but I'm only going to use these in these 2 spots. And this one was something I was working on before, so I'm just going to delete that because I know I don't use that anymore. We'll just scroll down and we will see that my board size is, let's add some spaces here so we can see. We can see I'm calling my frame with a width and a height. I still have the button in there. I'm not sure why. This is just used the base of the Bringing Up Code sculptor. So what did we see here? We saw that perhaps I had an issue when I tried to launch it. We'll look at it again real quick. So when I launch it, it's not very great for showing it to you. I can swing it all around, but you know, it's not fantastic. So here's one thing that we can say, hey, if we wanted to use, we know squares are always going to be 8 on a chessboard anyway, but let's say I wanted to do this for displaying purposes. You know, I'm going to change my square size to 20. I haven't changed any other code, but now my square size is 20. You can see now I can show you the whole board in here. I haven't really changed anything. You can see I made a problem here where we can look at that another spot where I didn't use constants to help me out. Let's scroll down and see where I made the mistake there. And here you can see I use squares and square size and all those things. Right here I calculate, you know, the y for each row, going through a couple of ranges on squares. My outline here is 4. That's awfully big for the smaller board, so I probably wanted to do that on some number based on the size of the square. You know, at 80 I think it makes sense. At 20 it probably doesn't. So maybe this should be something like square. Well, let's actually make it. We'll just call it line. We'll go back up and we'll fix it. So, you know, now I'm going to say line equals, how we do square size. I'm going to divide it by, how we do square size divided by 20, and let's add 1 to it. This will prevent me from getting a 0. If I go too small, let's see how that works. You know, we can see that looks a lot better than it did in the previous one. And then if I go to, you know, 40, it's still going to look good. Yeah, it still looks good there. And again, I have this area and that area that I've just built, so I have spots to write when I decide this. So what other constants did I use? And then I'll close this up. You know, what you may be thinking is, wow, you made a really nice chessboard, but I don't know how to play chess. I don't even know how to play checkers. Well, guess what? Because I've set it up as a constant, I can do that just by changing one right there. So there you go. Now I have a nice checkerboard. So that's all I'm going to do on this video. Like I said, I was just trying it out. Let me know what you think. I'm going to get chess up and running, so maybe I'll do more videos on it. Thanks. Bye.